Hello and welcome to this episode of the Irish Fantasy Punt. Jamie and Shane here with you. We made it 30 seconds without a mistake.
He nailed it. Nailed it.
It's pretty common for you then, 30 seconds and then a mistake.
It's going to be over in 30 seconds. I'm so far behind here. I don't even have the soundboard up to even like play something to, you know.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Old reliable.
Oh, that's back.
I don't seem to mind it as much as you do for a change.
It's quite funny. It does add a bit to it, to be fair. It's not taking the piss on me.
As long as it doesn't touch one of our fragile egos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fairness, it never really gets to my ego because, you know, I control it.
Yeah.
We need like a second soundboard, so someone else controls.
Yeah.
So we get you, Dan.
I do need to get a sad push it to the limit. I was looking for like kind of acoustic versions of it during the weekend just to kind of show my how the Justin Fields situation has played out, but we'll get to that as we get through the show.
Yeah, I think Justin Fields, man, the limit has been reached. It's game over, isn't it?
I'll double back and kind of say to everyone, we will answer all your questions during the show. So if you want to put them into the live stream chat, we will come to them and answer them. If you'll give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube and a follow on Twitter at IF Punts. And you can follow us on our own Twitter handles that we have below us on the video stream there. Any other housekeeping we need to talk about?
No. Just we all lost. We're all ass. Here. I don't know.
Probably shouldn't be doing about fantasy podcasts and we can't even win our own matchups.
When the guy scores 170 points here, like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I think all three of us actually have a decent excuse. I lost my number one overall pick. Dan hasn't had his number one overall pick this year. Jamie got Mostert.
It's a verb now.
Yeah.
You got A-chained. I think he came out and said he wants him to be called Devon A. Chan now. I think he said that or something along those lines.
He's like, that's not how you say my name, but now that I'm on the map, this is how you actually say my name.
That's not my name. Snappy.
Things, but
yeah, going right back to our 2009 roots.
Oh Jesus, I'd say they were even before that, were they?
The things, yeah.
Yeah, surely were they? They were earlier than that, were they?
I feel like that was secondary school, kind of like
2005, 2006.
Yeah. Jeez, they were brilliant. I had that album.
I know that Wood song, and that's it.
Yeah, name one other Ting song.
I actually had their album. Do you know what he did?
No,
I did. Jesus, we're only 4 minutes in, and I've done it again. Move on.
Let's crack on with the show because I want this to be under 2 hours today. Review of week 2 or review of week 3 even is going to be epic. We'll start it off.
Fine work, my boy. You've done it. You're a true hero.
It's quite. I don't even have Sleeper up yet, but I can tell you who the top running backs were anyway. Anything to add on those two? Nobody played Achan.
Absolutely not a hope. And
No.
how sickened would you be? Like, that's 50 points sitting on your bench?
If he was even on the bench, like he's only rostered in 46% of leagues on Sleeper.
That's all.
That's it.
Highly rostered.
and there is 4% of people who start him. So those 4% of people are like, yes, I told you. I told you.
Yeah, he kind of, if he's on the waivers, he's the number one pickup, but I don't think in most competitive leagues he will be on the waivers.
No,
So it was A-Chain, Mostert, Kenny Walker at a big game, Zach Moss, and then Christian McCaffrey. One of these things shouldn't be here. Zach Moss is having a great season, isn't he?
Yeah, that whole line is looking good, revitalized. Can't wait for Jonathan Taylor to come back.
Poor
Yeah.
Zach Moss. Zach Moss definitely has that talent. Like, he just gets caught out with these things. We called it a couple of weeks ago. Pick up Zach Moss, and he'll probably get you a few points. But yeah, is it this week now? Taylor's back.
No, Zach Moss has 1 week left of being
Yeah.
the
Oh, he's
lead
out.
back.
He's not
Well,
back this week.
If Taylor comes back.
He's coming back. It's been reported he's in training camp, or he's still training with the team. He's getting ready to go. He'll be back.
If he's playing for the Colts, though, is the next question, or does he get traded?
I don't care where he plays, man. I drafted him like 6th round this year just because nobody else was getting him. I was like, I can't leave him go another round. I was like, it's Jonathan Taylor.
The quarterbacks, Tua was number one with 28 points. Justin Herbert with 28 points as well. Kirk Cousins, we said, is a good shout most of these games because they just keep passing. He was number 3. Lamar Jackson returning to form at 26. And then Patrick Mahomes is quarterback 5. Nothing shocking there.
Not really, no. If you go slightly down, you'll see Andy Dalton had a massive game.
How far
Wherever that
slightly
came
down?
out.
He's number 7. He's behind Jordan Love at 6.
He said slightly down, and I went a long way down.
That's fair. We were talking Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I have Andy Dalton as the 5th overall QB this week.
I'm looking at a different scoring format than our league, so it might be slightly off.
All right.
I can switch to our league and give you that though if you want. I'll give you our format.
I don't mind whatever
It's
you
fine.
want to do, buddy. I'm happy for it. Like, I was just like, this guy can't read. He doesn't know his numbers.
Okay, let's move us on then to the wide receivers. Can you guess who the wide receiver 1 was?
No.
in our format or your format?
In our format. Let's switch to ours. Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs is probably not correct. Let's see what we have here. We have Keenan Allen, Devonta Adams, Tyreek Hill, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen.
We told you to start
Great.
Thielen.
Did you start
Man's
Thielen?
not dead.
No, I didn't know.
We just don't take our own advice.
No, I was going to start him, but then I was like, I know if I start him, D-Hop will have a big game. And I was like, I just can't do it. I was like, I'm going to stick with D-Hop for one more week. And I should have taken my own advice. I said it last week to start Thielen to myself. And I was like, oh, everyone will think I'm an idiot if he gets nothing. I'd be like, they're like, oh, he's tanking already. It's like, I don't want to get that name for myself in the league.
Speaking of tanking, Tank Dell was the 6th wide receiver. So he's a nice little stash if you had him on your bench.
Yeah. I think Jamie actually said that last week about picking up Tank Dell to stick him away on the back of the bench. So great call. Looks like he's going to be a real featured piece in Houston this year.
And whose bench is he sitting on there, Jamie?
It seems to be yours, Dad. You're welcome. Sometimes we take our own advice.
Sometimes we steal the other person's advice so we can lord it over them.
Yeah.
In the hope that it works.
The tight end 1 was Sam Laporta. Travis Kelce came in at 2. Pharaoh Brown at 3. Donald Parham at number 4. And George Kittle, number 5. Do we want to talk about the Travis Kelce situation?
Doesn't really bother me, man.
Days of Swifty.
Yeah. Bill Belichick, did you see the Belichick thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Belichick thing. Did you see that, Jamie?
No.
Belichick was asked in an interview about Kelsey with Taylor Swift, and he was like, well, Travis has made a lot of big catches throughout his career, but I'd have to say that's the biggest one he's got so far.
I'll come back to your precious kickers. I'm going to go to defenses first. Buffalo Bills had a big week. I think you played the Bills as well, Jamie, didn't you?
No, I did not the Bills. No, I just
No, you played against the Bills.
I played it. No, I didn't. No,
Oh, did you not? Okay, you
No.
you got a reprieve from the Bills.
I got a reprieve for that one. Yeah,
Detroit Lions had 17 points. I didn't realize they had such a big week on defense. Who were they playing? Oh, the Falcons.
Hmm.
Did Ritter try to throw the ball or something?
probably. No, no interceptions. 7 sacks.
So he just didn't
Oh.
move.
It just didn't move.
The Eagles were third, the Texans were fourth, and the Browns were fifth. The Texans absolutely smacked the Jags.
Yeah. I think if you have any Jags bar ETN, I think it's time to start shopping them a little bit. It doesn't look like that offense is going to go very far this year. Trevor Lawrence can't get time. When he does get time, he's whiffing the ball. Receivers aren't able to take that down because the ball is a mile above them or a mile behind them, or it's just things aren't looking good for the Jags. And ETN seems to be the only one that's anyway productive for that team.
Yeah, maybe try and sell Calvin Ridley on that big week 1.
Yeah, it's tough sell now. Like you probably be after losing a bit of value. Maybe hope when we go into the matchups later on, we'll see who they're playing this week and what kind of a outlook you have for playing Ridley. But I would be skeptical. I can tell you on my waiver wires this week, there's a quarterback coming to me.
I'm right there with you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'd say I'm going to get the one you're looking for though, because I'm 2 on the waivers this week because Nick Chubb going down killed my team.
Oh, no. Oh, that means I'm going to have Jordan Love on my team for the rest of the season.
No, that's me. I'm picking up Love.
Oh, I want Stroud. Yeah, you can have Love. I'll take Stroud.
No, man. I'd
Are we
take
now
Love
high
all
on
day long.
Love?
Yeah.
I called this week 1, and everyone mocked me that he was going to be any good.
Yeah.
No,
I
who's
did.
laughing?
I certainly mocked you. But
Yeah.
after 3 weeks of 28, 26, and 26, I got to go with him. It's solid production. He's looked good. For as bad as the Packers have looked at times, he's looked really good.
He looks
Well,
very good.
he hasn't even looked really good. It's just he's consistently getting high fantasy points.
No, he has looked really good. Like, he obviously don't watch the Packers, but like he has looked genuinely like a very good quarterback. But like you can't sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years and not learn something. You know,
Apparently, you could sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 months and not learn anything, though.
Yeah, 100%.
Here, talk about your kickers so I can move on.
Kicker of the week. Get a soundboard thing coming in there. Kicker of the week.
No.
That'll do, Jamie.
What's your fit for a kicker? Just
We'll
like,
do it ourselves. We'll do it ourselves.
Yeah. It
what
was.
do you want for a kicker?
Just stop interrupting the kicker of the week, man. It was Matt Gay
Yeah.
from the Indianapolis Colts. Had a superb week at 24 points. That could have been the game changer in a someone's league this week. Smashed it. Better than what Derrick Henry got.
Get rid of kickers from your league. Let's move on to the waivers.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to turn that off before it got too loud this time.
Good call.
Week 4 waivers. Will I just start going through them myself, or what do you guys? How do you guys want to run this week?
Hit it positionally. Hit like say the
Proceed.
top 2 each
Well-
position.
Well, I have
and we
free
work
agent
off that.
kickers here. If you want to talk about Evan McPherson,
Evan McPherson being a free agent kicker is fucking nuts, guys. Right? The Bengals are ass. Someone has to score points for the team. Once they get in field goal range, McPherson has got it. Shooter's got you covered.
yeah, I'm going to go over the trending up players. So let's talk about maybe Joshua Palmer. Mike Williams, we didn't really cover it, is injured ACL, so he's gone for the season. Are you interested in Josh Palmer, or would you be looking to try and pick up the rookie Quentin Johnson if he's available?
I'd rather Johnson. I think I'd rather take a punt on him. But like as a Mike Williams owner, I'm kind of happy in a way that I don't need to deal with this shit anymore. It's just gone. You know, not happy he's injured. Obviously, it was an awful injury, and he was really starting to come good. But yeah, I'm out of that. I've dealt with it for years. I'm just not doing Chargers anymore. So, nah.
Yeah, you've always been the Charger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, look, I'd be on the opposite side. I go Palmer here. I think for such a pass-heavy offense, Keaton Allen got a lot of ball this week, but Williams was what they have this week, like 20-something points this week as well. He had a big week, did he, this week?
Good job.
So I think Palmer is going to slot right in there. He got a few targets after Williams went out, so I'd be on the Palmer train here straight away trying to get him. I think he's probably going to be the number one waiver wire target this week.
See, I did this before in the past. I picked up Palmer when Williams went down, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't happen. That's just personal experience.
I'll just give out the top wide receiver kind of names. So there's Palmer at 9% owned, then Tank Dell, he's at 51%, Adam Thielen at 59%, Quentin Johnson at 52%, and then you look at then you kind of get down to the Marvin Mims range of 28% ownership. So if you were to order those, so just say they're all available, you can have Josh Palmer, Tank Dell, Adam Thielen, Quentin Johnson, or Marvin Mims. Which way you kind of organize? Actually, let's take Thielen out of it because he's definitely rostered everywhere. Say maybe Tank Dell slipped onto a waiver. We'll say that's fine.
Oh, I'd be ranking Tank Dell as my one then. Like if Tank Dell is available, I'd be going to get him. I think he looks like it could be a 1A and 1B situation of receivers in Houston, and he's well on his way to being the 1A there. Like he looks good. Stroud likes him. They seem to have good chemistry there. I'd be high on Tank Dell after the last 2 weeks. Very high.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, I think if he is there, he's your number one. I would take a punt on Johnson, but I do like Marvin Mims. He's had a couple of big weeks there. I know you have the Russell Wilson factor, but I definitely think he's something that you could pick up and stash for a week or two, see how he goes.
If Russell Wilson has one thing in his locker, he does have that big moon ball, and Mims will probably be the person who gets those. He did have 5 targets this week, up from 2 the week before, so I'd agree with you, Jamie. I think Marvin Mims, if you have a space, he's a nice, interesting little pickup.
Bears next week too.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be playing him yet, but he definitely deserves a spot on your bench at this stage. Running backs, Devon Achane is going to be the number one pickup if he's not rostered already. I think in competitive leagues he will be rostered. There's not really a whole lot else then at the running back position this week.
Not really, no. Running backs are such a commodity. Like, sure, there probably isn't a lot of top running backs left in your leagues. Like, who's left in our league?
You're going down to the likes of Melvin Gordon there for what we would have in our league to come in and play for Baltimore with the whole Justice Hill, Gus Edwards thing. The two of them might not play. Melvin Gordon seems to be the 4th string running back to come through there. So he didn't play particularly well. He got a few carries, looked all right, not fantastic. Melvin Gordon hasn't looked good in a long time. So if you're struggling at running back, maybe pick him up. But I don't know. Like, you'd want to be like in desperate need of a starting running back to throw him in. Like, you'd want like 4 injuries on your team, which is very possible. I am very close to it. I lost 3 running backs in 1 week.
That's fair.
Tight ends, Laporta is probably the biggest pickup, but I don't think he's going to be available in most leagues at this stage.
No.
There's people like Ferguson, Higbee, Freiermuth, Everett.
I think Higbee would be a decent pickup. He seems to be getting consistent points at this point. He's definitely a tight end you could probably start most weeks.
Your man as well, Jamie. Yeah, I had him and I ditched him because he played ass for the first 2 games. And then I picked up Hunter Henry and that went well.
And then defensive streamers of the week. Is there anyone in particular you're looking at next week?
I'd stick again with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's who I called last week. They've like a nice run of like 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, I imagine they're rostered at this stage though. So give me a different one.
Want to go back to someone else?
What about your Bengals against the Tennessee Titans with their crap?
No, I don't think I'd go that way. I think maybe if you want to take a chance, the Browns contained the run very well in Tennessee. They stopped Spears, they stopped Henry. I think they could do a real job on Lamar and Melvin Gordon this week. The fact that they have a real lack of running options, I think they'll pin Lamar in, and then it comes down to can their corners and safeties win against the Ravens receiving core, which I would say, except for Zay Flowers, probably there's not a whole pile else there. So I would bank on the Browns this week, maybe against the Ravens having a good day.
Maybe even the Texans. You could go that way. They play Pittsburgh this week. Not an unbelievable offense.
No, Kenny Pickett can't get his head out of his ass.
They don't believe in stuff like yeah. They don't believe in stuff like it's a better offense last week. So, if you're stuck, you could take a punt. Now, don't bank on that. But
Crowd likes the point game.
thanks. It's still going. Jesus, sorry, lads. Calm down.
I'd suggest the Denver Broncos against Chicago as well. Something's incredibly wrong in Chicago.
It's also around the Broncos, so
Yeah. Yeah, they did just give up 70 points, so I think that's
a bold call.
Yeah, that is a bold call.
Okay, let's move on then, and we'll talk about next week's matchups.
I can't believe he's just said, "Hey, see this team that just conceded like the all-time most points in the game conceded. Play them next week on defense."
Here's a point, though. They are playing the Bears.
It's an absolute clown show, this.
That's going to be an awful game. Like, my God, I just have to watch that thing.
You will have to watch it. You have to talk about it.
I shan't be talking about the Broncos and the Bears next week. Or here. We can skip straight past that thing.
The 6:00 kickoffs next week over here. So whatever time that airs in America, because I'm not doing the maths, they're terrible again this week.
I think it's like 10 a.m. on the West Coast and like, well, it's like 1-ish in the East.
Yeah, no, they're so bad again this week. It's bad matchups.
We'll start then with the Thursday night extravaganza of the Detroit Lions at Green Bay. Jamie, do you want to talk us through your Jordan Love, Jared Goff kind of competition here then? Who would you start? Which one would you prefer? Jordan Love or Jared Goff? Too many J's.
Such a weird question, isn't it? If you think about
it's quite a fantasy question.
I think they're, I need both very streamable now. Like Shane was saying, like Jordan Love is definitely up there now. He's had a couple of big games. Like played absolutely horrifically last week and still got 26, 27 points in our league, whatever it was. This week as well, Watson's back. He's got Musgrave, Dubes is playing well, Jalen Reed's there, Aaron Jones should be back. Like, if there's any game the Packers are going to play the best in this year, it's going to be here. But then the Lions, you also have like a couple of fairly streamable options and like St. Brown and Reynolds and Laporta, like this could be a very fantasy relevant match.
Mm-hmm.
How did Love have so many points? He had 44 attempts for 22 completions, 259, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 9 rushes for 39 yards and a touchdown. That's where it came from.
He's I would say Love at the minute is consistently just a little bit better than Jared Goff. I would think if it came down to who should you start, if you're going off the body of work over 3 weeks, the numbers say start Jordan Love.
Yeah, he's more of a running quarterback, and you know yourself, they always get that little bit extra than a guy who's going to sit in the pocket.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The second you kind of have a bit of a rushing, you have an advantage. But in fairness to Goff, he has been good, so we won't.
Yeah, 100%. Great offense.
Tell you who hasn't been good, Jahmyr Gibbs.
No.
Where's the worry level, Jamie?
He's alright. He's okay. He's getting there.
He's not okay. This is Josh Jacobs level of bad.
He's getting there slowly. I was really hoping that this was the week. This is the week of Montgomery out, but yeah, it's worrying at this point. He just doesn't look like a guy who's going to be very fantasy relevant most weeks. He seems to get the touches, but he doesn't get the touches in the right area.
I wouldn't be happy if I was a Gibbs owner. Like, if Montgomery comes back this week, if he's healthy and he's back in, it's trending in that direction. I'd be worried that Gibbs didn't do enough in that game, and Montgomery's going to take back over as the lead back. And then Jahmyr Gibbs owners are really going to be in the shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
I see something that Montgomery might be out for longer than expected, though. I think I saw something that he could have an extra few weeks tagged onto it now.
I just seen that he was trending in the right direction to come back.
Okay, maybe it was some weird random tweet I was reading that wasn't correct at all. Oh, it might have been David Montgomery. Not Montgomery, but Jamal Williams. I'm confusing it with.
Yeah, no, he's done. Yeah, he's gone for a good few weeks, and he's gone out of my team now as well. He's painful.
He's joined the graveyard that is your running back.
Jesus, I had such bad luck to start this year. There's only one way I can go. That's up.
If Aaron Jones is healthy, you're playing him straight away.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, there's no recourse for AJ Dillon to be started in any situation, is there? He's just terrible.
Yeah,
he's literally a reason why you should start Aaron Jones every single time, because the minute Jones is back, Dillon's out. Dillon is not half the running back he was last year.
Then at the wide receiver position in this game, Amon-Ra St. Brown, like we've heard about turf toe, but it didn't seem to slow him down, so he's going straight back in automatically anyway. Christian Watson, Dubes, they're probably the question marks here.
Christian Watson, if he's healthy, I think you're starting him. You have to start him, don't you? It'll be interesting, but I think if you drafted him, you're starting him at this point. Like, you've waited 3 weeks to play him. He should be the number one option when they come in. I was worried that Dubes seems to have a really good connection with Jordan Love.
I don't know if I'm playing Watson this week, even if he's come back from that hamstring. I'd be worried that he'll just re-injure the thing straight away.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'll be careful with him this week, but he's definitely going to be Love's number one target. So once he gets back fit at all, I think you're laughing there.
Yeah, it's hard to know. And then, the one week that Dobbs, I played him, he got 4 points. The other 2 weeks, he's got over 50. So I'm a bit scarred with Dobbs. It's hard to know. Would you play Dobbs or would you look at Drake London against Jacksonville?
I'd probably play Drake London against Jacksonville, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
Dobbs or Jordan Addison against Carolina?
I'd go with Addison.
Dobbs or Zay Flowers against Cleveland?
I'd probably lean back towards Dobbs there, just because I think Cleveland will have they'll shut down the running game. It'll leave Zay Flowers a little bit exposed, trying to get on the end of balls.
Yeah, I think I agree, yeah.
Yeah, and Detroit are 10th against wide receivers, so they've been better than the pack against wide receivers, but that's still not scary enough to turn me off Dobbs, I think.
I think you can play him away. Like, even like Jalen Reed as a guy, you could probably stash and pick up and keep an eye on, because he seems to be getting more and more involved every week.
My worry there would be if Watson's back, how does that limit his involvement? Someone's got to lose targets when Watson comes back.
I don't you don't start him, but if you have a spot, you stash him on the bench and you watch him for a few weeks. But yeah, you're right. It depends on what happens when Watson comes back, and I do imagine he would just suck the targets away from the other guys.
Very graphic.
The Green Bay Packers have been middle of the pack against tight ends. Are you playing Sam Laporta again?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's top level. Oh, like you play him every week.
And then the Detroit Lions have been goddamn awful against tight end, 31st against tight end. So are we looking at firing Musgrave up after a big week?
Yeah, I would say get him off the carousel this week and stick him in the lineup.
He's a starter. Like really with tight ends, you're kind of thinking, would you be playing him, say, over a Darren Waller? See who the Giants are playing. The Giants have Seattle on Monday night.
Yeah, I'd play.
Yeah.
I would. I'd play Musgrave. Yeah.
Cool. So let's move on to the next game then. Atlanta at Jacksonville. Like this is going to be a tough one. I think it's the two running backs are the only players. You're only playing not Bijan and Travis Etienne, really, aren't you?
Yeah, that'd be it for me. Yeah, I wouldn't risk any of the wide receivers just for the simple fact that offense doesn't seem to be able to throw the ball this year. And I really rate Trevor Lawrence. I think he's an absolutely fantastic quarterback. I just, for some reason, Doug Peterson and the coaching staff, they don't seem to be able to get this thing to work so far. They got it to work for one game and they haven't been able to repeat that. And it is worrying. And Trevor Lawrence is no longer going to be part of my team.
Kirk quietly had a good week, though, Jamie. I'm only looking at the stat line here. Would you play Kirk?
I think you're kind of right. You're kind of on teeter on the edge. But I think if you have Ridley, obviously drafted him high enough that you're going to continue to play him. I would play Kirk, Joe. Like, you can't get much worse, And that's like Lawrence is a very good quarterback, so like it has to start working at some point. Like, the Jags aren't that bad of a team. They just seem to be struggling at the moment. I think sometimes you just have to back the talent and just keep going to that well until it eventually burns you so much you don't go back to it. Because it's a fire, not a well. You're an idiot.
2 weeks have done me here, man. I'm done after 2 weeks of them. Like, things are bad.
Play like the Falcons are bad against tight ends. Oh, like it's carousel play though. It's kind of if you're backed into a corner and you have no option, you might play Evan Ingram tight end.
Yeah, I would agree with you with Ingram. I thought Ingram played well enough as well. He gets his targets every week. You're guaranteed he's going to get ball. Like, so I have no problem with playing Ingram.
No,
and there's nothing on this earth that could make me play any catching player from the Falcons. Like, it doesn't matter. It's over. Do either of you want to talk about Pitts or London, or will I move on to the next matchup?
Nah, let's shove along.
Move on.
We're moving nicely this week. Actually, I should say again, if anyone has any questions, just put them in the chat. We'll answer them for you, no problem. So our next matchup, Miami at Buffalo. This will be a fun game early in the early slate. Tua versus Josh Allen. They're both auto starts anyway. You're not benching either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to dissect Achane or Mostert. Sorry.
Yeah, I wouldn't fall into that trap, to be quite honest about it. Like, they're not having that week again. It's not going to happen, right? And if you got them, you're probably going to load them up. But I genuinely think they're just flex options this week. I don't think you're putting them in as an RB1 or 2.
I don't think anyone's going to have the stones not to play Achane though, or Mostert after those weeks in a big like this. This must have a massive over/under for points this game. I'd say. I don't have the stats to my hand, but like it would be like, as a human being, it would be very hard to bench either of them this week.
Oh yeah.
Like Achane went from 10% of the snaps to 41% of the snaps this week. Like, did he just get the increased work because they were blowing out Denver? Are they going to introduce him now straight away? Are they going to bring him forward again and say, look, you got 225 yards, you smashed in a couple of touchdowns, let's go, we're loading you up now, we're firing up, you're going to get 50% of the workload with Mostert. I think it's still going to lean towards Mostert. I think Achane He's going to get his touches, but I don't think he's going to be as hot as what he was this week. I'd love to be proven wrong.
The Bills are very good against the run as well, but he was so fast.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter how fast you are to run into a wall, you know. You know, like it's just
quote of the week.
I just don't. It's not going to happen again. Like, I just don't think it will. I just wouldn't be so quick to start to him now just because he won one big week.
Well, I can put some options in front of you. Would you play A-Chain, or are you going to play Madison against Carolina? Isn't fair. You're going to play A-Chain over that crap any day of the week. Javonte against Chicago or Devon A-Chain? A-Chan, sorry. It's going to take me ages to relearn this name.
Oh, go Javonte, yeah.
Are you going to go Najee against Houston or A-Chan?
No, A-Chan. Just don't like Najee.
No, stay away from Najee.
Rashad White against the Saints or A-Chan?
Rashad White.
Yeah.
This one might be tough. Would you go Brian Robinson or A-Chan?
I'd lean Brian Robinson.
I'd
love to be sitting here and say A-Chan is clearly he has the ability to be better than all those guys you named. He's clearly that good, but it's just worrying that is because it was a blowout win. Did they give him more of the ball because they were up so much? Were they just saving Mostert a little bit? And is he going to be more of a feature player later in the year? And we just saw a glimpse of what we can expect from him. And that we're not really going to see that snap share again for another couple of weeks. Like, that's my worry with A-Chain. By all means, play him. It's just, I don't know would I have the stomach to stick him straight into the lineup.
No, I wouldn't. You got to think Waddle's back I think Waddle's back this week. So that's even more of the offense gone away from A-Chain. Like, they're not going to, like, if anything, they're probably going to split it again, and they're both not getting 40 points again.
I think most are going to end up with.
I think it's going to be 50-50, and I think, like, the Miami running game has always been good with two backs. We saw it last year with Jeff Wilson and Mostert coming from the Shanahan tree of just running the ball. I do think this is just going to be a high-powered offense, and I almost think you have a better chance of getting value out of both Mostert and A-Chan than you would in San Francisco when everyone plays. There's too many mouths to feed and someone's going to pay. But I think this will be a 50-50 split, and we might see, like, you know, when it was Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara in the Saints.
Yes.
And they were both valuable. Anyway, I think we spent enough time talking about that. James Cook on the other side, you're playing him straight away?
Yeah, slot him in. Yeah, he's looked good. Yeah. Just he's lacking the touchdowns, really, isn't it?
Yeah, to stop taking the touchdowns away from him, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Latavius Murray's nearly you can nearly flex him at this point because he's just taking on touchdowns.
Is that getting you angry every week now, Jamie? That Latavius Murray keeps waddling on.
Oh God, it's actually just. I know that wouldn't have mattered this week, but it's just so infuriating. Every time you see the Bills in the red zone, it's like, where's Cook gone? Not having a cup of tea.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
That is, oh my God, it's so long.
Every time you see them coming on the field.
it just shows you how deep our league is, though, and how much the running backs have been snapped up. Like, I was looking for someone to just have on the bench this week, just in case. And I picked up Latavius Murray because there was literally nobody else. He still ended up having a better week than Henry. I was like, for fuck's sake.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, their autos, Stephon Diggs as well. Gabe Davis is really going out of his way to spite me now after I dropped him, but he still didn't have that good a week last week.
Yeah, it's a knock on there.
Yeah, I'm not on the Gabe Davis. I think there's much better receivers out there that are on the waiver wire that you can pick up over Gabe Davis.
I think Dalton Kincaid has made his way into a cut category at this stage. I don't know if the Bills need him. They never seem to use tight ends that well, do they?
No.
No.
And it's really annoying because they could have not drafted him. It took the fucking draft spot right in front of the Cowboys and took him. He was our player. Instead, we get Mozzie Smith. Now, defenses look good. I'm not complaining about Mozzie Smith, but I would much rather have Dalton Kincaid.
You're passionate about that one, Shane, are you?
Yeah, it's so annoying. Because they're not
Uh.
even using him. It's like, why
We have the Vikings.
did you do that?
He got so angry he froze.
I was trying to hop in and just slide past the freeze for the next round, but then it came back in. So I was like, oh, stop. Minnesota at Carolina. I don't know. I think Bryce Young is still going to sit for this game, isn't he? So then it's probably going to be Kirk Cousins versus Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins has been very good for fantasy, though. So I think you're firing up again. He's the QB1 on the season so far.
Yeah, by all means, throw Cousins in, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he available in our league or no? Someone has him rostered. Damn it. Bryce Young, yeah, we're saying he's probably not going to play, which is probably better for your receivers that Bryce Young doesn't play, to be honest, because he actually had a good game from Thielen when it was Andy Dalton. Madison Akers, no thank you for either of those. I will find any other option than this hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Latavius Murray was available.
Miles Sanders, fire him up, I'd say. Let me just get you some stats on what Minnesota are like against the run, but I don't think they have been anything special. 11th against the running backs. They have been better than average, but I'm still going to play Miles Sanders, I think.
Yeah, I think you got it. He's playing well.
You guys going to play this just for Jefferson, lad?
Probably not. I'd say drop him.
Drop him to the waivers.
Just drop him to the waivers. Oh, God.
Jordan Addison, he had a bit of a slow week to start, but like the targets are going up. He is getting on the field more now. 56% of snaps, 69, 71%. I think he's probably moved his way into, if he's your flex play every week, he's an auto flex play.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, like the Vikings don't seem to have a set of running backs, so they have to throw the ball more. John, it's going to be Jefferson, Addison, or Hawkinson. You know, I think there's enough to go around.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd agree,
Carolina,
yeah.
like you said, they're not the best defense in the world. Let's just take a look at their stats against the wide receiver position, but I think it's going to be okay. It doesn't matter. Oh, here they are. They're third against wide receivers. They're actually quite good against the wide receiver. I wonder, is that because everyone's just running on them?
It's a good possibility. So this might actually be the perfect game for Carolina to upset someone.
Actually, this is skewed because they played Atlanta in week 1. So Atlanta don't throw the ball. They just won it. Yeah, so like I tend to like using the analytics by week 4, but obviously Atlanta are just going to mess up all of these stats. Adam Thielen, are you going back to it? If it's Andy Dalton, I think it's probably a decent flex play for Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable sticking Thielen in at the wide receiver too after the 2 weeks he's had.
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be an interesting one, actually. Adam Thielen versus Jordan Addison. Who would you have?
Oh,
I think Thielen for the minute, just because there's literally like Shark is awful. Mingo doesn't seem to be very favored there. Chenault is awful. And Marshall seems to be awful. Like he seems to be literally the only receiver with a bit of pedigree in the team. Like, so
I was actually going to say pick up DJ Shark and put him on the back of your bench if he's available. Like, he had 11 targets last week.
yeah, a lot of targets, but he didn't do a whole point. Like, he got 86 yards off of 11 targets.
And a touchdown.
Yeah, and he needed the touchdown to make it like a good week.
I don't think it would have hurt if you flexed him. Even
No,
even
it wouldn't have really hurt. But like at the same time, I don't want to be relying on Shark to get that production every week.
No,
I wouldn't trust him.
no, I wouldn't. But I do think he's well worth to pick up if you need a wide receiver.
TJ Hawkinson auto start Hayden Hurst. There's no point even really talking about Hayden Hurst, is there? Do we have any interest in talking about?
No.
Not anymore.
Bryce Young
No.
comes back in. I might have a bit of interest in him again because Young seemed to like throwing to Hurst. I think that's just a rookie QB thing. They like going to the safety valve to tight end, but without him, I don't see it.
Hurts is off the carousel, out of the playground, and he's watching the defense again.
Do you want the carousel music or will I save it?
He's on the carousel. If you
Yeah,
have it in the
he's off
distance,
I love this music.
I've actually never watched it. It's iconic. Which
and
matchup
on we
are
go.
We're on Denver, Chicago next. The matchup, the battle of the Titans.
This is why I had the soundboard up, because this might be the last time we get to play it if it goes badly this week. Justin Fields, he doesn't That's enough of that. He doesn't get the full song.
We're done. The limit has been reached. I'm off of him. Like it.
There is
I
no
don't
limit because he can't reach a limit. He's just an awful, awful quarterback. He's not going to work.
I'll tell you how I'm going to play it with my fantasy team. I'm going to put Fields on the bench for 2 more weeks. I'm going to go get a streaming quarterback to play out these games. If he can't do anything against who does he have after Denver? I was looking at this earlier. So it's Denver and Washington. Denver, Washington, Minnesota. He can sit on my bench for those 3 weeks. We'll see. Does it improve? After that, I'm not even wasting a bench spot on him. I'm just not dropping him to the waivers yet because all it takes is the coaching staff to realize, all right, he just needs to run every play.
Yeah.
Fair.
And plus, I don't know if my soul could take dropping a 4th round pick like 4 weeks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't drop him. Like, drop him to your bench, but I wouldn't drop him. I think you're right there.
Yeah, if I drop Lawrence, that'll be my 1st and my 5th rounder gone.
Then Russell Wilson on the other side, like no one's really looking at Russell Wilson, even with the terrible Chicago defense. I don't think anyone's taking that because Russell Wilson hasn't been good anyway.
But he hasn't hurt you. You know, he had that big week in week 2 against Washington, but he's probably streamable here. Realistically, like if he's going to do any, like I think you could stream any quarterback back against the Bears. I think you could kind of take it like that every week.
Okay, we'll put that to the test. Would you stream him or say Matthew Stafford against Indianapolis?
I go Stafford. Stafford seems to be picking himself up a little bit.
Probably Stafford.
Would you go Russ or Baker against the Saints? Actually, there's no way in hell you can talk me into Baker against the Saints. Forget that one. Let's say someone like Josh Dobbs against the 49ers.
Okay, I'll take Russell Wilson. Like, Jesus Christ.
Play that soundboard thing. That one.
I don't think it has the same impact when you ask for it.
Thanks. We'll cut out that 30
Oh,
seconds.
that was so shocking. I did not expect that noise.
I'll give you Josh Dobbs' actual noise.
What?
It's the star in Mario Kart.
Yeah, but why is that Josh Dobbs' actual noise?
He's so salty. Anyway, sorry. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. We've talked about them. We'll move on. There is very few players I would like to play in this matchup. I don't even want to play Javonte Williams in this. Do you? Does anyone want to play Javonte Williams at this stage?
I'd play him here, alright, Cham.
No.
It's the Bears. And that's my reason for everyone here. This is the Bears. Let's play him up.
It's the Bears.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a decent week, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's been all right.
It's the Bears. No way. Well, then,
I think Jerry Judy's the only player here I'd be looking at playing. And Mims, I might flex Mims. He's had 2 decent weeks. Snap percentage has gone up, but I think Judy is on for the big week here.
Like we're finished with DJ Moore. Well, no, DJ Moore was okay again last week. I don't know. I just have no faith playing any of these Chicago players.
no.
Did you cut Darnell Mooney yet, Shane?
Yeah, he's gone, buddy. Jacoby Myers hit the waiver wire, and I was like, yoink.
Yeah, I was sick of them picking him up.
I dropped Jacoby. I can't even remember who I dropped. Oh, I think
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook hit the waivers. I'll tell you another thing. Dalvin Cook will be heading back to the waivers this week.
I'll be picking up Dalvin Cook.
He's on the running back carousel.
I'll be picking him up, man. I have no running backs. You do realize this. I lost Gainwell to injury. I lost Jamal Williams, and I lost Nick Chubb all in 1 week.
I'll give you Justice Hill.
Oh, fuck off.
I would be talking to a Kyron Williams trade if you were interested.
No, you wouldn't. Why would you do? No, we're not talking about that on here now. You would. That's a lie. And I wouldn't give you Derrick Henry for him anyway, even though he was awful.
We'll talk after it.
I'll wait till you two start talking shite, and I'll take a little peruse of your roster and see can I find anything. Anything that takes my fancy.
It's woefully bad.
So there's no one in this Denver-Chicago game you really want to play. You might play
just
for receivers, and then that's about it. Like,
yeah, even at that, Judy, I'd be higher on the Mims just for the fact that Mims is looking for the big play.
Mimsy. DJ Moore. There's no interest in DJ Moore. You wouldn't play DJ Moore over like Kenny Pickett against Houston.
Nah, he's on my bench for the
They
time.
they don't even play the same position. What are we doing here? Kenny Pickett's a quarterback.
Sorry.
It's like, yes, I would play the wide receiver over the quarterback.
George Pickens. Why do they draft two
Oh.
players with incredibly similar names in the same draft class?
It's hardly their fault. Like,
Yeah,
two players, they wanted the same names.
They were Steelers GM just sitting there going, I know what'll upset fantasy players.
This will be
He definitely
hilarious.
drafted the wrong one first. You have to go back the next round and fix it.
Oh, Kenny Pickett, man. I had such high hopes for him this year, and his head is just so far up his ass he doesn't even see what's in front of him.
We'll get to that absolute mess when we get to that game. But it's not
Jesus.
great. Baltimore at Cleveland. This should be a good game. Well, it should be worth watching anyway. I don't know if I can really watch much more Deshaun Watson. He's pretty bad. And he still had a good fantasy week. So Lamar, Deshaun Watson. Are you playing Deshaun Watson?
I wouldn't, but Lamar would be my kind of risk of the week this week with the way that defense played against the run against the Titans. Titans, for as much as what's wrong with that team, the one thing they do is run the ball extremely well. They could not stop Myles Garrett and that defensive line of the Browns. So I would be worried for Lamar Jackson this week. I think he could have a really bad week.
I don't know. I don't know if I could bench Lamar. Is the only thing.
You
take
could, if you drafted him, you probably got him third round. You're definitely not benching him. It's just, I would say limit your expectations against the Browns this week. Don't be expecting him to have a 20+ point week. I think he's going to be under the 20 points this week.
Yeah, I think that's good analysis.
Thank you. Look, Jamie got a big fucking 6-minute applause.
Wasn't that good?
I don't even think it's that good a take Jamie had either. Justice
I
Hill, Gus
earned
Edwards.
that applause.
It's the only applause I've gotten in my life.
This really is the stinky running back matchups here. We have Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, Ford, Hunt, Melvin Gordon has forced his way into this. Are you happy
Kenyon
to
Drake would have forced his way in, only he didn't remember that he had to hold on to the ball again this year.
put so bad? It was a decent run as well.
Yeah, it was a very good run. And then he was just like, oh, ball, wow. Just threw it away.
Ford. I think Ford's probably a start.
Yeah, again, I would be worried if I was a Ford owner because they had Kareem Hunt on a snap count this week, and you could see it. They put him in for like the first 5 plays, and then they just went to Ford. Then they brought back in Hunt at the end, towards the end of the game. It was like, is he really going to be the number 2 for that long? Because he looked very good when he got on the ball at times. Like he looked good. That'd be my worry if I was a Ford owner. Like, is this maybe your last week of Ford been 60% of the snap guy, 70% of the snap? Is it really going to go more 50-50 here?
Yeah, I don't think you mentioned that though.
And he had to do touchdowns, and he had very little yardage. The 10 carries for 18 yards, so without those touchdowns,
that's a sexy stat line right there.
And that's your RB1. Like that's not what you want, lads.
Yeah, like Kareem Hunt had 5 carries for 13 yards. Like that's insane. The difference, like he's going to get all the receiving work as well. Kareem Hunt is nearly, I'd say. So I think Kareem Hunt could be a sneaky little flex option this week against that Baltimore team.
Yeah, would you like to see it though first before you take the bet on your flex?
Oh, I would, yeah, definitely like to see it. But I think if you're like me and are riddled with injury, call Kareem Hunt.
That's what I said. You don't have a choice, so yeah.
Well, I do, really, I do. My receivers are good enough. It's just my second running back position. I am down to an RB1 and nothing else.
The Ravens running backs haven't been good. This happens every year. Like it really does. Like we just get this horrible mishmash, and it gets to the point where we can't decide which one to play.
Yeah, you would have thought Edwards would have picked it up last week with Hill out, but he just
got injured.
Yeah, well, like don't get injured.
Zay Flowers hasn't been setting the world on fire since he had his big week 1. So do we go back with Zay Flowers this week, or do you want to look for a different option?
I think Zay Flowers is very flexible.
Yeah.
Flexible. Man can move.
In all senses of the word.
All right.
Amari Cooper is your auto start. He's at home this week, so we don't need to talk about that.
And he was robbed. Did anyone else see that? We just going to brush over Amari Cooper, not talk about the fact that he didn't step out of bounds, and the ref was like, the line judge was like, "Oh, he was completely out of bounds." Man was like 2 feet in bounds. It was like, what are we doing?
That was
a strange play. He did get another touchdown at the end, and a bomb one that kind of was a weird play. He just seemed to be on his own altogether. Mark Andrews, you're playing him. David Njoku. I'm probably looking for something better.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, just while you're on sleeper there, just open up David Njoku's sleeper profile. It looks, because of his hairstyle in it, it looks like he has half a head.
Oh, yes. I see this.
Yeah, there's nothing else to really talk about here then. No. Pittsburgh at Houston. Kenny Pickett, CJ Stroud. Kenny Pickett's definitely not an option, but CJ Stroud has definitely made his way into a streaming category that I will be picking him up this week if I possibly can and playing him.
I'm not getting him, so you probably will.
Tough game. Steelers defense been playing quite well. As Shane said, would happen. Not Shane. Not bother, kid.
Are you two looking for the applause here or something to give me time to get it on the soundboard?
Or... no, I'm just saying, Joe. Stroud has had a couple of good weeks, but I would kind of be careful. I don't think I'd play him here. I think I would pick him up, but I wouldn't play him.
I probably don't have an option, to be honest. Like,
that's fair.
If you're like me and you're in the Justin Fields camp, you got to pick someone to play. You can't play Fields again. Saying that Denver are really, really bad. They just shipped 70 points. So. But still, no Justin Fields. Najee, Warren, I don't want any of this at the minute. I want to wait until Warren gets the backfield to himself when they just finally decide to bench Najee, but it's been terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a
Damian
Najee Harris fan.
Dameon Pierce had a little bit of a bounce back this week, but it still hasn't been great. Are you rolling Pierce?
They flex them away. You probably drafted him so high that you're probably still going with him anyway. It's only week 4, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I think he's only going to get better as well. The more that passing attack opens up, it's going to open up the run lanes a little bit more. He'll get on track. I wouldn't be worried about Dameon Pierce yet.
Good question for Dameon Pierce is: will you play him or Brian Robinson? Brian Robinson has the Eagles.
I'd probably go to Pierce then, maybe. Even though, do you know what? Yeah, Pierce probably, just the fact that Cam Hayward isn't there. The Steelers' defense won't be as good against the run without Hayward for the last. He wasn't there this week either, but I don't think they'll be good against the run as long as he's out. So Eagles' defense is pretty decent.
George Pickens. I had to think about that to remember which name it was. That's why I kind of stopped there. George Pickens. Do you want to play George Pickens, or would you prefer to play Tank Dell in this matchup?
I'd take Tank Dell.
Yeah, I think so. I think just the both wide receiver options on the Texans side, which is something we haven't said in a very long time, are both very streamable, very flexible options.
They just seem to love throwing it, don't they? The Texans.
They seem to. Yeah.
They're trusting Stroud. I thought Stroud, man, coming out of college. I know everyone went Bryce Young over Alabama, and he was extremely good in college. But I always thought Stroud, even as say a year previous, Stroud seemed to be the favor for number 1 pick coming in to last season, and then throughout last year it just shifted to Bryce Young, and Levis came up through the ranks. But I was always kind of on the Stroud hype train there. I thought Stroud was going to make it good in the NFL. I was actually kind of surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised in the end with the way everyone was talking, but I thought talent-wise, Stroud was the better QB of the two of them. He's very good in the pocket. He makes good decisions.
It was kind of funny with this when you said Levis came up the ranks. He went back down the ranks pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was like, we're only messing with you, bud.
Yeah, the tight ends in this game. Then Freiermuth is
dead to me.
Yeah.
You can't really look away from him either, though. He was good last week. It's just hard to know.
He's on the carousel.
No, I'm not doing it. He's not on my carousel. He's not allowed on my carousel. I kicked him off the team. He's done. You don't get back on the team. Once you're out, you're out.
Dalton Schultz actually is dead, though. There's nothing happening there. We can move on from this matchup, I think.
Yeah, Dak just made him a brilliant player. That's all that was. Elevated by his QB.
I assume Richardson will be back for this game. This is assuming a lot with that concussion, but I imagine he is. So this game has a lot of playable options, like Stafford and Richardson. You could fire both them up.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams, he's an auto start. Zach Moss is an auto start at this stage. I didn't think I'd ever say that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you keep going with Nakua and Atwell. I don't think he plays Stafford though. He still doesn't seem to be a fancy relevance. He might be a guy you could keep an eye on, but I don't think he's starting this week.
Yeah, you're quite right there, Jamie. He's been below average, really, hasn't he?
Which is kind of weird since Nakua and Atwell have done so well.
Touchdowns aren't going his way. He's only had 1 touchdown in each of his games. He didn't have one in week 1. It's very surprising seeing as the 2 wide receivers are both playing so well.
Yeah. And that'll change though. Cooper Kupp is due back. It's not this week, next week, isn't it? Well, they're saying he's due back, but
yeah, that's
I
what
still want to see what that hamstring issue is.
Yeah. We'll know more in a couple of weeks, but then Pittman seems to be beastly this year. I think you're just going to play him every week.
Yeah, Pittman's production should go down if Richardson comes back in. Let's be realistic about it. But it's he's still not he's still not a player that you would drop. Like he will be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1 for me all week. Like,
Yeah, he feels like a player that he's not going to boom, but he's not going to bust either.
yeah, he's very solid, decent numbers every week. You're expecting that kind of 10 to 12 point range for him every week minimum.
Jamie, any Pittman thoughts? You were a resident Pittman man last year, weren't you?
I was, yeah. Don't like him, but
That's not Pittman's fault. That's Carson Wentz's fault and Matt Ryan's fault. It's like you
No,
and
yeah,
Pittman through 2 years of awful quarterbacks.
Did you? And look, it's nice team do well.
Just not on your team.
No.
Tyler Higbee's on the carousel. Like if he's on your team, you can play him. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Derek Carr, do we have any update on his injury?
No, I haven't seen
We're not
anything
gonna know
about
till the end
him.
of the week. Yeah. If it's Winston, I'm out on everyone. I don't want any of that. Well, I suppose Olave is still useful and Winston's there. At least Winston will just throw it down the field. But
Yeah, it's
Alvin is back this week.
yeah, do you want to fire Alvin? I suppose if you're in the situation where you're struggling for a running back, you're just going to fire Alvin straight back up, aren't you?
Yeah, I tried to trade for him. It didn't go well.
Anyone who's waited the 3 weeks to get him isn't going to trade him now.
It was worth a try.
So, James, you want to run through the Saints for me then? Just run through the whole side. So, Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara. You're not going to play Carr realistically, even if he does play.
No. You play Kamara, you'll play Olave, possibly Michael Thomas. Probably a flex option there. Shaheed is he's interesting. He seems to be kind of tipping away there in the background, and no one seems to be bothering with him or talking about him. I think he's another kind of guy that if you had a space, you stash him, bench him, because I think at some point this season he's going to pass out Michael Thomas there, and he's going to be a flexible option. Bold call, but
Yeah.
I think he will. Now that 6 points he got this week was a special teams player. He didn't get involved, but I do think he's a guy to keep an eye out for.
And then we don't really have anything else on the Saints side. Like you're not going to be talking to Taysom Hill. That's just never really going to be a thing anymore, is it? Shane, do you want to bring us to the Tampa Bay side?
Yeah, I suppose you're not playing Baker anyway. I wouldn't be playing him. 11 points this week gone. He's coming up against a really good defense in the Saints. They held out really well this week for most of the game, and then just capitulated at the end. It was terrible for me as they're my defense. But Rachaad White, I think you stick with Rachaad White again this week. I think if you drafted him, flex him. I know he's 2 bad weeks, 1 good week. Hopefully turns another good week this week. Mike Evans auto start from now on since week 1. Godwin's another. He's one I'd be more worried about. He was drafted a lot higher than Mike Evans, and like you're looking past 2 weeks, 6 and 8 points. Week 1, 7 points. Like Mike Evans is clearly the one there. Godwin owners for drafting him. What did he go like 4th round this year? Was it 4th, 3rd round?
I'm in danger.
Yeah. It's not looking good for Godwin owners. I'd be very, very worried. And then when you come to the tight ends, Cade Otton, you could throw in Cade Otton. He can come off the carousel. Maybe he's gone for a 7-point week, a 2-point week, and a 2-point week. I wouldn't personally be going for Cade Otton. I think there's better options there. But if you're stuck, Cade Otton might be an option in this game. Just the fact that the Saints defense is pretty good. They might limit Evans and Godwin. Otton might see a bit more involvement.
Yeah, it's tough to know on Otton now. It's the name that kind of deters you, isn't it?
Yeah, for a guy that they were all like, oh, he's replacing Gronkowski in Brady's last year. He's just that good. He's better than old Gronk. It's like, no. Tom Brady just likes the tight end position, and they refused to play Gronk for certain snaps. It was just like, just keep them out of the team.
Washington at Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts, your auto start, and Sam Howell, you were never thinking about starting, so we don't need to talk about the quarterbacks. Swift looked good again, didn't he?
Mhm.
He's probably moved into auto start territory.
You can start him away, yeah.
Brian Robinson, trusting the process and just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, like, he had a tough week last week, but that was the Bills. Bills is always going to be tough against the run. Eagles is probably tough enough against the run too, but I think you kind of, let's say, trust the process to keep going.
I don't think I want to play any of the receivers in this game. Like any of the Washington receivers. I'll play the Eagles ones, no problem. I think they've all moved to a bench category for me. McLaurin, Dotson, Samuel. I don't really want to play any of them.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Shane,
I
any
play
input on
McLaurin.
that one? Do you want to play
McLaurin
him?
is,
I am.
yeah, no, I would like. He's flexible. It's just Sam Howell is his issue. McLaurin has shown with the limited amount of touches he's getting, he's putting up yards and points. So I would play McLaurin as a flex. I think he's a very boom bust player, but against the Eagles, they have to make something stick, and it's a rivalry division game. I just think someone from Washington is going to explode this week, and I think the only player that has the real ability to do it is McLaurin. So I think McLaurin is a good flex play this week. That's about it for me. I wouldn't play anyone else off of the Washington team.
Sorry, I didn't talk about
Yeah.
Gainwell. We're talking about the running backs. Would you look at Gainwell? He didn't have a big week, but he was coming off the injury.
I think it's another kind of wait and see week for Gainwell, isn't it? Like you
Yeah,
just kind of
very
want to
bad.
see how much they're going to play him with Swift out coming after 2 good games. Be interested to see. It did with the Eagles. We know what they're like with running backs as well. Like for Boston Scott for the last 2 years is showing up every third or fourth game with a 10, 12 point week. You don't know what they're going to do with the Eagles and the running backs. Like they're mad that way.
The wide receivers in Philly, we're just going to play the two of those. We don't really need to talk about them. They just auto start. Dallas Goedert has been nothing really for your fantasy teams. You drafted him in the 6th or 7th round. He's surely moved to the bench at this stage.
Oh,
Yeah, surely.
probably not. Like,
It's tight end.
it's a tight end. I think you just keep going. Especially if you draft him that high, you're going to just keep going with him. It's probably a favourable enough matchup here as well that you keep chugging away at him. Like, he's got the talent there. So I'd say keep going.
But are you wrong to keep plugging away with him? Like, say you looked at your waiver wire and you have someone like Pat Freiermuth, you have Jake Ferguson.
But like, Firewood is what was Firewood doing? He hasn't done much better than what's his name? Goddard. Maybe he's forgettable. I don't know. Maybe you should drop him. It's for his name. We're talking about.
It is an interesting one, but like, what tight end are you going to get off the waivers? It really is going to have a good shot anyway. Is the other side of it? You are correct there, sir. Logan Thomas, I don't know if he's going to be back with the concussion. To be honest, he got a bad hit, so we maybe wait and see there. Cincinnati at Tennessee. Joe Burrow, Ryan Tannehill. It's not exciting at the minute, is it?
We don't even know if Burrow's going to play.
Are they talking about him being out again?
Yeah, I seen something about it there. I think it was yesterday morning, or was it this morning? That they're talking maybe he might play.
Yeah, like I
But
can
look,
see him like not practicing all week, but I would have thought he'd play anyway. We'll take this matchup assuming that he is going to play, just for the ignorance sake of it. It's the usual suspects for the Bengals, surely. Burrow, Mixon's in, Chase and Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
No real complaints there. And then Tennessee is a bit more of an interesting discussion. Derrick Henry hasn't been good, but could you possibly bench him?
No.
God no.
No.
That was an easy answer.
He's my only running back left.
That would be a very ballsy decision, and if you do it,
But to play with no running backs.
not you, but I just mean in general. Like, more power to you. I like your balls, but nah, just don't do it. Like,
Okay.
move on, it's fine. You all heard it. It's good.
Yeah, Andy Hopkins is firmly on the bench for me at this stage. What about you two?
Yeah,
I would agree.
yeah. When Tannehill's playing like this, you can't play any of those wide receivers.
So the only player
just-
for at this stage is Henry.
Yeah, just for Pig Iron, the last time Henry had a game where he scored under 5 points, he came back the following week and scored nearly 40. And he's done that twice in his career for fantasy owners. Anytime he's got under 5 points, he's come back the following week and nearly scored 40. So I'm expecting Derrick Henry to load up and have a massive week this week.
Just a reminder, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat on YouTube and we'll answer them for you. Start sits, trades, anything at all, or even waiver wire pickups where we are not discriminatory on our question answering. Las Vegas at the Chargers. This matchup really throws up a lot of issues for me personally with Josh Jacobs. It's probably similar to the Derrick Henry thing where, Jesus, you can't sit him. Like,
No.
No. But
Is
he's getting better.
He ran in the right direction this week.
He's trending
incredibly
up.
slowly, he's getting better.
He's trending up. Like,
We
He didn't
actually
get
we
negative
got
rushing yards this week.
we got a question in the chat there.
Okay. Who would you keep rest of season? Brian Robinson or Alvin Kamara? It's Alvin Kamara for me, but
Yeah,
Brian
has to be
Robinson is very
Alvin.
good. Do you agree, Jamie?
oh yeah, that's
Oh, excuse me.
a silly question.
There's-
Sorry,
There
there's no
are
silly
no
questions.
silly
There's
questions.
no silly questions. I apologize, Hanson Huang.
You're some asshole, you know that.
I-
Hang on
I've
now.
known him for years now. It's hardly like you didn't know that.
I don't have any bad music for him. There you go. This is
Hell,
Jamie.
son, you're about as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop.
That's just mean.
That's true though.
This is unnecessarily mean.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Justin Herbert. We're playing Herbert. We're not playing Garoppolo. That's an easy enough question.
Mhm.
Austin Eckler, is he going to play? Is the main question because I cannot watch another Joshua Kelly rushing game.
My God, no.
I don't know. Eckler, he's a guy who watches fantasy football himself. He's really into it. I've seen him talk about it, and he's said he drafted himself in a lot of his leagues this year. He really wants to get back himself. So I think Eckler might squeeze himself back in this week.
Jeez, like Joshua Kelly really didn't come back after that week one, did he? He went right back to his mean.
Yeah, he is awful.
Devontae Adams, you're going to play him straight away. We don't really need
Yeah.
question marks there off the big week. Jacoby Myers, what do you think?
He's pushed for wide receiver 2 category for me. He's gone above a flex, I think, with the 2 weeks he's had. He's looked consistent, solid. I'd have no problem if I was there. It was the 24 points week 1 and then 12 points in week 3 when he played, coming back from the injury. This week, a week on again from the injury, should be a little bit healthier, a little bit fitter again. I'm expecting a big week again from Jacoby Myers. I'd wide receiver 2 him.
I'd agree. I think
You'd be
he's a guy-
interested in a Dalvin Cook Jacoby Myers trade.
No, you just dropped him and stole Cook from me.
Yeah, but if I drop him, then he'll be on the waiver wire and someone else could pick him up.
Yeah, me.
Oh.
Yeah, but there's 10
It's either
other
him or Latavius Murray, and I'm like, it's pretty close.
Keenan Allen's an auto start, but Josh Palmer might be the question mark. Are you gonna play with a Josh Palmer kind of Quentin Johnson, or are you gonna just leave it off for a week and see how it plans out?
I'd flex Palmer. I'd be happy to flex Palmer this week.
That's a good one to do it. I think you're Keenan Allen, you're absolutely laughing because like he's going to be incredible this year now. But the other two,
But he also gets injured a lot, and like if you're expecting him to take on another 15 targets a game, that's another 15 chances of him getting injured. Like I would put his injury risk rate gone through the roof. Like if you pick up Palmer this week and Keenan Allen still gets another 10 extra targets and gets injured, well then Palmer becomes the number one receiver for one of the best passing teams in the league. So like Palmer is a serious pickup this week.
But I know how this thing goes, right? I've done this before. I had Keenan or Allen and I had Williams. They both went out. I had Powers as a wide receiver one. It's not as pretty as you think it is.
Yeah, but when you done that, they did not have Justin Herbert as the QB. You done that before the year before Herbert came there.
No, I didn't. No, it was
last year.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. You didn't have the two of them last year.
I was.
You did you had Pittman last year. You didn't have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams last year.
Whatever about our tie-in carousel, I do this thing where I do this Chargers carousel every single year. So I know those wide receivers, right? I know what they're like. If anything, I would take the punt on Johnson. I think that's more sound than picking up power.
Jamie lives in the Chargers wide receiver room. He does all the TV.
They are mine.
Why are you getting injured?
This week when I drop Mike Williams, will be the first time I think in like 3 years I won't have a Chargers wide receiver.
You gonna go for Palmer? No.
No, I was going to go for Johnson when he's picked up.
There's no point talking about the tight ends here because you can't really pick any of them. New England at Dallas. Mother of God, the New England game was terrible. It's like, honestly, like, we can just skip. Like, are you even playing Ramondre Stevenson anymore at this stage? Do you really want to?
Nah.
If you have him, you're probably trying to sell now. That'd be my goal. I'd be like, surely someone who got an injured Nick Chubb week 1 and lost Jamal Williams and also lost other running backs, doesn't have any running backs. That's the guy I'm going to. I'm going to be like, look, Ramondre. Ooh.
You have Ramondre or Pacheco, Jamie?
Oh, probably Pacheco, yeah. I'm never high with Ramondre. Anyway. I never saw him as like an RB1-1. You know, I always thought he was good behind someone.
No, I thought Ramondre coming into this year, I thought he was really going to take the next step coming in this year. But New England just haven't done a good job of running the football. And it's just been hard to watch. Like, the one thing New England were always good at through the Brady years and Everton was setting up the run, even with bad running backs, to work off of a play action pass. And they just can't do it this year.
Loss of limb will not excuse you.
I hadn't used that drop yet, so I have to get it in somewhere.
Okay.
Tony Pollard. Yeah, you just play Tony Pollard. There's no real point discussing that.
Yeah.
You don't play a New England receiver, so there's no point talking about them. CeeDee Lamb, yeah, he's a start. But Brandon Cooks, are you looking that way now?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm nearly at the point where you could drop him. I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, by the looks of it, it's like it's not a CeeDee Lamb and then Brandon Cooks is the 2 and Gallup is the 3. It's like it's CeeDee Lamb and then it's like, well, whoever else is like, it's just whoever else runs that route that I'm looking to throw that. It doesn't matter who it is. This week it was Gallup. Next week it might be Cooks.
Hunter Henry is your auto start at tight end. He was your waiver wire darling. So I don't think he's coming out of people's until this week, apparently, where he got 2.7 points.
Yeah, he hurt me. I'm sorry. It's probably my fault for picking him up. It's like I'm cursed in fantasy this year. It's not been a good year. Through the first 3 weeks, I've just hated every minute of it.
Jake Ferguson's on the carousel anyway, so it's the standard procedure. You just pick one of them and hope they score a touchdown.
Ferguson should be coming off the carousel realistically. Last 2 weeks, 8-point game, 7-point game. Like he's outperforming most tight ends now. Like that's good production for undrafted tight end. Like what you're coming through the
You've
fantasy
definitely
draft.
put, like kiss of death on him there now.
Absolute kiss of death.
Good.
He's gone back down to 0.2 points.
But look, it doesn't bother me. I'm a Cowboys fan. I know that if we don't get the ball to him, it's going to go to Schoonmaker or Hendershot. Like the 3 tight ends are fairly similar.
Goon man. Arizona at San Francisco. Where do we start here? Josh Dobbs, Brock Purdy. Purdy is kind of one of those quarterbacks that you put in now at this stage. He scores you his 22 points and you just move on, doesn't he?
Well, that's the first time he's gotten over 20 was in week 3.
Yeah, he's not really a fantasy quarterback. I don't think I would put him in. I think I'd leave him off.
Yeah, I'd be fairly much the same there. I wouldn't be starting Purdy anytime soon. Maybe another week or two before he convinced me.
Because if you talk Purdy, then you talk Dobbs, because he's nearly as productive as Purdy, fantasy-wise, obviously. Not talent or anything else. But fantasy-wise, he's nearly as productive. But
Bar
no,
minus 2 week 1.
You forget that.
No, I will never forget that. That is an awful. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback get minus.
I had to scroll to see that. That's in the past. Don't worry about it.
The running backs in this game, James Conner and Christian McCaffrey. I think we're into the territory now where you just play Conner every week.
Yeah,
I
until
think
this
you have
week,
to.
and he gets absolutely
Yeah.
burned. But yeah, I'm on it. If I have him, I'm playing him this week.
He has been very productive, though, in fairness. I have him on my fantasy team, and he's become my running back 1 over Josh Jacobs. Wish I didn't waste that pick on Josh Jacobs.
Oh, buddy.
Christian McCaffrey is an auto start, so we don't need to discuss that. Ayuk, if he plays, the problem with this San Francisco team is you have to play all the pieces, but you know one of them is going to get screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's tough to call, but like I think Ayuk, when he comes in, he seems to be Purdy's favorite target.
Is there a chance of him playing this week? He practiced.
I think
today,
so, yeah.
okay. Yeah, so he practiced. So he probably will play this week.
Yeah, I think Ayuk could be like you should be really saying Debo with the talent we know Debo has, but I just think Ayuk is definitely Brock Purdy's favorite target. So I would be happy to play Brandon Ayuk over Debo Samuel.
I'm playing. I'm just going to play them all. Can't do anything.
Yeah,
Can't really bench him.
Yeah, you don't go too wrong if you play Samuel or Ayuk. Like they're
No.
both probably going to get massive points here.
And then Kittle you just play as well. There's no real point questioning that. He was bad the first 2 weeks, but it's a tight end. There's nothing you can do about it. Hollywood Brown, he's actually been surprisingly productive. 7 points, 14 points, 14 points. Has he moved into the territory? You're just going to play him as well? Like, this is the 49ers defense we're talking about here as well. Like,
I
think, look, I just think because he's had 2 productive weeks, like I know Hollywood Brown had a bit of a break this week. No Trevon Diggs with the injury to him. So I think he's had 2 really good weeks, 14 points back to back, that you give him the benefit of the doubt if you have him and you're playing him.
yeah, it's probably hard to bench someone who's scoring 14 points on your bench each week.
Yeah.
This is the week you get burned. I'll play Dobbs this week and I'll get burned as well. So don't worry about it. Back down to 4 points. Zach Ertz, I don't want anything to do with Zach Ertz in this matchup.
No.
Kansas City at the Jets. Mother of God. Thank God this is the late game on Sunday, so us Europeans won't see this. We'll have to watch the highlights the next day. Like, I assume Zach Wilson still plays this game. I can't see Trevor Siemian going in after 5 days of practice.
No, he'll play, but That's not good if you have any Jets players.
I don't think I've ever seen a projected quarterback score so low in Sleeper. They're projecting Zach Wilson for 8.47 points.
Impressive in its own right, isn't it? Like,
It's quite a high projection, really.
yeah.
This Chiefs defense looks legit as well. Like they're going to eat him alive if he plays.
Yeah, they'll destroy him.
I assume this is like they sacrifice Wilson this week so they can move to Simeon the week after.
Yeah, you would think, but I just don't know. I'm assuming they're definitely moving to Simeon. You would hope they would, but they seem pretty much set, didn't they? On like, oh, we're sticking with Wilson.
That was before this though. Like
The team seems to be like imploding around him as well. Like even Michael Carter, he's the third string running back, and he was like giving out on the sideline, going mad. It's like, dude, settle down. You're third string.
This happened last year as well, though, where all the offensive and defensive players just started freaking out because Wilson was so bad that he was costing them the playoffs.
Yeah, well, he is ass.
Jamie, can you play Garrett Wilson in any situation?
No, I don't think so. No, you can, but I think you're doing that with a bit of a you don't want to.
I'll tell you mine.
think
I have an answer for this question already. Like Hollywood Brown against the 49ers or Garrett Wilson?
it's an awful choice.
Yeah, I probably leaned to Brown there. Dobbs is better than Wilson.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's bad when you say it like that. They like the Cardinals. What do they trade? Like a 6th round, a 7th round pick for Dobbs, and he's better than what was Zach Wilson, the number 2 pick.
Yeah, number 2 overall.
Jamie, did you have anything else to add on Wilson there? Sorry, I kind of cut across you with the Arizona question.
Absolutely none, to be quite honest. I think the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, even the running backs for the Jets have gotten very stinky.
You'd be so upset if you Brees Hall.
Yeah.
So upset, like that man has he's abundance, talented abundance, and he just can't use it.
Yeah, they're benches for me at this stage.
Yeah, it's a sad situation.
To be honest, you're probably getting to the point where you might actually be able to cut Brees Hall.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'd be waiting to see what happens with Simeon coming in. Like, it's got to improve some way, shape, or form. It can't be any worse. It can't. Like, it just can't. Like, no way it's worse.
I get excited about this offense when Simeon comes in either. Like,
no, God no. But like I'm saying, like for the running backs, it's at least got to improve.
You really would think that you could just run every play and it would be better than what they're currently doing. But at the same time, I don't know. How
just
did this
the Wildcat every single formation playing the Wildcat? You have 3 decent running backs. Go out, play the Wildcat, do like loads of little swing passes and see what happens.
Like how did Zach Wilson become the number 2 pick? Like
that was madness though. Nobody thought he was going to be the number 2 pick, and then they just picked him, didn't they? It was just like, oh yeah, we got Zach Wilson. Boom.
No, he was mocked to them all that time, wasn't he? Who was the number 1 that year? Was that Baker? No, Baker wasn't that year, was he? Who was that year? That was the year after Kyler, wasn't it? So that was the Tua Herbert year.
This Herbert year, yeah, Tua.
Who was the number 1 that year?
Do not remember.
Because Tua was 5, Herbert was 6. Was that Trevor Lawrence's year?
Yes, could be, yes. Jacksonville took him number 1.
Yeah, I can't really remember 100% of it. Anyway, he's not good. We can move on. Pacheco
because wasn't that actually the year that the Jets worked themselves out of the number 1 pick? Didn't they win like at the end of the year as well? They did like what the Lions did last year. Was the Lions did it last year?
Yeah, where they caught them. Like, they did themselves in, didn't they?
Yeah. And Jacksonville ended up with the number 1 overall pick, like with 2 weeks to go in the season because of it.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, it was. And it was the
yeah.
old coaching staff. Yeah, so I'm trying to read this at the same time. You can re-rank the quarterbacks from that draft class. There's an article on re-ranking them. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence number 1, Zach Wilson was 2, Justin Fields was 3, Trey Lance. This is wrong. This article because Trey Lance went number 3 and Justin Fields went 10, didn't he? And then Mac Jones is at 14.
Oh yes, that was the year. That has not been a great quarterback class, has it?
No, like
Not really.
we're looking at Trevor Lawrence pretty much. To be honest, Mac Jones is probably the second best quarterback out there at the minute. There's no probably about it. He is the second best out of that class.
Trey Lance now sitting behind Dak, learning. Like Cowboys' future there.
You're all trading Najee for David Montgomery in redraft and JT for Kyron. I would trade Najee for David Montgomery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be moving JT until he comes back. I want to see what happens there. Like if he gets shifted somewhere, could be insane. Like he could have unreal production. He could go back to JT from 2 years ago. Like I just wouldn't be moving from him yet. I know Kyron was playing absolutely outstanding, but Cooper Kupp's going to come back in eventually, and that might limit the run because Matt Stafford is just going to pass to him 30 times a game.
Or it opens it up.
Yeah, it could do that. Yeah.
Like you have JT and I have Kyron. Shane, I don't know if I'd want to trade Kyron to you for JT, and I don't think you want to trade JT to me for Kyron. So
No.
we split on that. So Jamie, who would you prefer?
I'd probably go on the JT side. Yeah, I think you probably haven't probably held him this long. Like you're not going to trade him now.
You may as well.
You might as well wait the week, see how he goes.
Najee, then David Montgomery. We talked about that. Yeah, I prefer to have David Montgomery on my team than Najee. I don't think Pittsburgh are going to do anything.
Yeah, 100%.
Kansas City, sorry, we were discussing Pacheco, McKinnon, Clyde. But you're just firing up Pacheco, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
McKinnon after the big week, do you even care? It's not worth the dice roll.
No, he does it every now and again.
We'll just skip over the receivers in Kansas City because there's no point discussing it. With Travis Kelce, we just like that's an autoplay. Like Garrett Wilson really is the question mark of this game, and we're saying the Hollywood Brown comparison is probably the level to put him at. You're looking at your flex wide receiver 2 positions.
It's probably not hurting you enough that you'd bench him. Like you still flex him away. That's not kind of what you drafted him for. You drafted him high enough to be your nearly your wide receiver 1. Like
that's gone now. That world is no longer. Would you play him or Jacoby Myers against the Chargers?
Oh, Myers.
Yeah, I think I'll go Myers, man. Yeah.
That actually brings us to the last matchup of the day. We got through it pretty quickly today. Seattle at the Giants. This is a bit more of a up in the air kind of like. Who would you pick to win this game, Seattle or the Giants?
Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle. I think I lean that way as well. It's in New Jersey is the only thing, but Geno has been kind of what you expected Geno to be. Capable is the word I would use.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to
Nothing
play
wrong
him.
with it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to play him as a fantasy option though. If I have a better option, I know that's
He's not the Geno of last year yet, but I'd still have faith in Geno to come along. I think he'll be that guy who sits on the waiver wire, and when you need someone for a bye week, Geno's going to be your guy. I think everyone's going to have a little bit of Geno this year.
Yeah, that's a fair enough assumption there. Daniel Jones, I don't even really ever look at him as a streaming option, to be honest. And he's put up a 2-point week and a 3-point week so far this year, so it's probably fair enough. Like it's not worth the The juiciest
and
squeeze.
the 34-point week.
Yeah. If these trends continue, we're in for a nice 35-point week this week. Kenny Walker, there's no question marks there. Just go straight in.
This is one I would now start to question a little bit. I wouldn't question playing him. I would just say temper your expectations on Kenny Walker from now on out, because Zach Charbonnet has gone from a 24% snap count to a 26% snap count, all the way up to 43 this week. I would say expect Zach Charbonnet to start taking a lot of snaps away from Kenny Walker. They are going to become a 50-50 share in that backfield, or 55-45 split. I think Charbonnet is going to become a lot more of a threat to Kenny Walker owners from this week on.
Jamie, any opinion?
I wouldn't think so. Not yet. Maybe in the future. But like, Walker's playing so well at the moment. Like, he must be in the top 5, is he? He's number 3 here in Sleeper. Like, he's an automatic start. Like, you have to keep playing him. And Charbonnet hasn't got to that level yet. You know, they may go 50-50 at some point, but I think for the time being, you just plug Walker in and just enjoy the ride.
Saquon Barkley's probably not going to play in this game, in my opinion. I think he's going to be. I assume he's going to be out for 3 weeks. Would you play Matt Breida? He got the touchdown. It was bad though.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, you're touchdown reliant with Amarcha, heavily touchdown reliant.
Yeah, I think I'd be avoiding it at all costs.
He's not good enough to replace Barkley when he's injured. He's not like.
The Seattle receivers are pretty self-explanatory. You're just putting in Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Any interest in Smith and Jigba yet, or are we still? Yeah, no, he didn't follow it up this week. So, yeah.
But you have him. You keep him on your bench.
Yeah, you paid enough for him. You're not going to drop him yet.
Yeah, you're not going to drop him.
We'll just scroll past these Giants wide receivers here because there's no need to discuss them. Darren Waller, he's kind of just, if you have him, you have to play him. There's no real, like, you could look at a Freiermuth, but are you really bothered switching out a Waller for a Freiermuth?
No. Waller's probably not.
Really,
He's probably not killing you. He's not doing you anything great, but he's not killing you either. You know, he's kind of getting those tight end points.
Those lowly tight end points.
Yeah.
And Shane, do you want an opportunity to discuss Will Disley?
He was out, man. He's out injured. It's tough at the top. You know? things get tough. But
that just ends the show in such a sad manner. Like, can we give us like a cheery jingle there, Dan, or something? Go on. Go ahead.
Those guys, I can give you. We can go back to the carousel with Disley. He's on the carousel still.
He's not on the carousel. He's injured. He's not allowed on the carousel.
There, ready to go.
He hurt himself. He can't hurt himself.
Well, we'll just give him a round of applause. Well done, Disley.
Man, What is his injury?
I don't know.
It's not his hand or something, is it?
I think
a shoulder.
Just,
it's a shoulder injury. He can't be clapping. He's got a shoulder injury.
Well, he wasn't clapping for himself. We were clapping for him.
He can't be on the carousel.
We just can't give him a good pat in the back. That's
just leave him alone.
Aim for the other shoulder.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end of the show. We got through it nice and tidily tonight. Thanks for the questions that came in during the show. Remember to like us on YouTube, subscribe, and then follow us on X and follow us on TikTok for all of you young folk out there.
Young folk.
Any closing notes for the show, guys?
No, best of luck, guys, and hopefully one of us wins this weekend.
It will not be me.
Good night, folks. Have a good time.
Bye.